Sitaram. Dear devotees, once more on behalf of the Mandir, a most cordial and special welcome as we are blessed with this opportunity. As customary on the Thursday evening, we assemble for the purpose of Satsangh. Let's be reminded, Satsangh is the holy environment created with love and devotion, where three major activities take place. Puja, worship in the feet of the Lord. Kirtan, singing and chanting the praises of the Lord with a guileless heart. And Katha, listening to the divine niti of the Lord. However, again, Lord Shiva reiterates, Punya Punya Binamalahina Santa. Unless His mercy is showered and our good karmas accumulate from the past and the present birth, it is difficult to reach an environment like this. Whenever it becomes possible, consider oneself highly blessed. We are more blessed again to keep satsang in Lord Shiva's mandir itself. So that's a double blessing in this respect. Okay, a most cordial and special welcome to all bhaktas and devotees who already joined with us, both nationally, regionally, and internationally, on our Facebook page and also on YouTube, streaming live by young Rishan Bizai from the Sanagar Hindu Youth Group of the Sanagar Hindu Temple, branch number 67 of the SDMS of Ojo Road in Sangre Grande, Trinidad, West Indies. A most cordial and special welcome. Once more, devotees, we have this blessed privilege to be in this holy shrine, to be in satsang, and to take a dip through the cup of the air in once more this great discourse between Bhagwan, Vishnu, and Garuda Ji, the Sri Garuda Purana. So let us at this time sit upright as we clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we bow our heads. Keep your focus on the lotus-like feet of Bhagwan Vishnu. Again, visualize the Lord possessing that dark hue complexion. A beautiful crown devotee is on thy head. Again, Bhagwan with four arms. He has the Sankh, the Chakra, the Gada, a lotus flower, and a beautiful mala made of the wild sylvan flowers garland the Lord. And a nice way to remember the Lord is when Narad Muni went to Vishnu Bhagwan in the Satnarayan Brat Katha, he saw Bhagwan relaxing on the eternal serpent Shesha. The Lord was of a fair complexion with four hands. In one he had the Sankh, the other the Chakra, the third the Gada, and the fourth a lotus flower. And a beautiful mala made of the wild sylvan flowers garlanded the Lord. Maha Lakshmi was massaging his feet, and all the divinities surrounded the Lord, praising thee. So, devotees, in this manner, as we mentally bow on those feet, we beg the Lord to bless us with thy divine grace, guidance, mercy, divine protection, divine inspiration. But we crave the greatest boon that any human can be blessed with of all your spiritual endeavors, the gift of unswerving, unfaltering, uninterrupted, unflinching, loyal devotion or bhakti to thee. As we rever those feet, we remind ourselves, those are the feet that have the holy river Ganga flowing on earth. Those feet as Shri Ram redeemed the Hilya. Janaka on the day of the wedding counted his blessings whilst he laved those feet. Even Guha, before the Lord was ferried across Ganga, Guha took that advantage of that privilege. Vibhishan, thrown out from Lanka, he sought refuge in those feet. Through Pawan Putra Hanumanji, he was accepted and saved. So too, Prabhu, as we bow, we rever thee. We pay obeisance to thee, but we join in reverence to the various divinities as customary, beginning with Sri Ganesh. Hari Om, Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Sri Saraswatiyai Namaha, Shri Guru Charana Kamalibhyo Namo Namaha. Om Yam Brahma Vedanta Vido Varante, Param Pradhanam Purushantatanye, Vishwargate Karanam Ishwaram Va, Tasmai Namo Vigna Vinashanaya, Vinadhare Vipulamangaladana Shile, Bhaktartina Shini Viranachi Harisha Vande, Kirti Prade अखिल मनोरथ दे महारे विद्या प्रदायिनी सरस्वती नवमी नित्यम् ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर् साक्षात् परम ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुलं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ओम नमो नारायणाय ओम नमो नारायणाय ओम नमो नारायणाय नीलवर्णं पीतवस्त्रं श्रीवतस्य परभूषितं गोविन्दं गोकुलानन्दं ब्रह्मादैरविपूजितम् रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे नाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतिये नमः हे रमा पुरुषोत्तम नरहरे नारायण केशव गोविंदा गरुरर्वच गुणनिधे दामोदरा माधवा हे कृष्णा कमलापति यदुपति सीतापते श्रीपते वैकुंठाधिपते चराचरपते लक्ष्मीपते पाहि मम ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्ण वंदे जगद्गुरु नमः विज्ञान रूपाय परमानंद रूपिणे कृष्णाय गोपीनाथाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः कृष्णाय वसुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गौ ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः यं ब्रह्मा वरुण इंद्र मरुत स्तुनवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गप्रमुषनिषदैः गारयन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिता तर्गते न मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यश्यन्तं नाविदु सुरगण देवाय तस्मै नमः ओम नागेन्द्रहराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरगाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकराय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय ओम जयंती मंगला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वः स्वधा नमोस्तुते नमस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुरारविंद्र यतपत्र नेत्र येन त्वया भार्यतल्य पूर्ण प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानं प्रदीपः श्री गुरु चरण सरोज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुवर जो दायक फल ओम ki jai. Sharanam Nath Mama Sankat Haro Hare. Bolo Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. We praise Goddess Saraswati, as normally we crave her blessing. Bless us, Maha, let us always have that sharp and broad intellect, good memory, eloquence in our speech, melody in our voice, creativity in our hands. Let us have mastery of our musical instruments and all in the field of fine arts and skills and talent. Daya Raksha Shama Karo. Jai 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 Sri Saraswati Mata. Jai 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 Shri Saraswati Mata. Oh Jai 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 Sri Rama. Pratama Vinavamai Sri Ganesh ko Duje Saraswati Ma Ije Mai Vinavati Ne Deva ko Joya Sri Ki Chala Ije Mai Vinavati Ne Deva ko Joya Sri Ki Chala. Jai 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 Shri Saraswati Mata. Oh Jai 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 Sri Rama. Shri Garuda Purana Anupama Karani Bhausagar Par Kara. Shri Garuda Purana Anupama Karani Bhausagar Par Kara. Oh Jai 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 Shri Saraswati Mata. Oh Jai 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 Sri Rama Radhika Ma. Jai 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 Shri Saraswati Mata. Oh Jai 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 Shri Saraswati Mata. Oh Jai 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 Sri Saraswati Mata. Our Shakti Saraswati Devi Mata ki Jai. Praise again to a noble pathway of life that we follow, Sanatan Dharma. Just now, this month of April is fast going. We are going to enter into May. And May month is called Indian Heritage Month. This year on the 30th of May, we celebrate 181 years since our forefathers came to this part of the world. And it's important that you begin to look back. I told you all, chat with elderly people and so on from long ago who might still remember how life was before and all these things and so on. Identify again places where you had barracks and all these things and so on. Chat with people that do research. You have so much avenues you could do research now too. And sit down and look back at what our forefathers did, devotees. They came here for their betterment and the betterment of their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Right? Things were very, very hard in India. Drought and famine and you name it, poverty to the highest extent and so on. Slavery was just abolished, but the demand in Europe for sugar was so high, cane sugar, and here was already producing, but with the abolition of slavery, nobody stayed on the sugar plantation. They gravitated towards the urban areas, and there was serious neglect. They brought so many different types of nationalities to work the plantation, but they couldn't make it. But in India, the British were ruling India. And they know they were already planting sugarcane so long in India. Because cane is mentioned, Shakra Khadya Khadyani Dadhi Chira Gritani Cha. We use it in puja. When they mix up the sugar and the ghee and so on there. And that is you offer to the devatas. So it was grown so long before. They know Indians could work hard. Indians are simple, humble, down-to-earth people. They just listen. And they're very productive. So they opted up on a contract system with them to bring them here for 5 years. And if you want, we'll bring you back to India, or you could stay down here and give you a piece of land. And again, thinking betterment and devotees, especially for their children, many opted to come here. Not only here in Trinidad, Guyana, and Suriname, and other West Indian islands, Jamaica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, all these places they came, right, to work the sugar plantation. Then cocoa devotees became very, very popular because the land was very productive for cocoa. Do you know in 1 year, somewhere around the 50s, I think 1950s down there, Trinidad produced the best cocoa in the whole world, the best cocoa you could think about. Huh? Just think about it. So many came on the ships later on to work on the sugar, the cocoa plantations, coffee plantation, banana and citrus and so on. But the main issue was cocoa. And that is how you have the sugar belt is one, the earlier section came, right? They were quarantined on Nelson Island after traveling 100 days. Think about it on a ship, depending on the wind to blow it. The Kala Pani. I think very important. We need to sit down and talk about these things. Okay? Many died on the ship, no privacy, this, that, so much advantage were taken off and so on. When they came down here, they were quarantined on Nelson Island. Right? They had to quarantine them there. And then bring them to Port Spain to allocate them to estates and so on. And this was the Jahaji Bhai. Hinduism and Islam came on that boat and they became Jahaji Bhai. And they lived in harmony with each other. They stayed in the same barracks that the African slaves had stayed. Imagine you have bought a house, right? The Gruvantong board, so big space between it. You here and the neighbor right next door there, so you're seeing through the board. No privacy whatsoever and so on. Just think about it. A serious advantage was taken over them. My brother used to sing a song when he did, I think you know it then. When they waking you up 2 o'clock in the morning to go and start a cut cane. You know clock this, that, you know what time it is and so on. And you're going to cut cane and they struggled. They plant a little garden, all these things and so on. You never look back, right, and live a life of frustration. You think about going forward all the time. It's important that we know this. Keep going forward all the time and do better than where your parents have reached. Supposed to do better than that. They struggled and they make it. Yeah, the Prime Minister said she went to school barefoot. All of you went to school barefoot too. Right? In our shoes, I think, long time. I'm sure if you ask us, every time you know it's a sapat. You know a sapat? Not what is in your umbrella, you know. A sapat boy, you making sapat with bicycle tire and thing. And a floor bag, shirt and bag and so on, and you all be going to school. Starch used to be made from what? What does make starch with? Nobody is buying starch. The bitter cassava, you get starch from that. And when you dry the hucks, right? You grind it and you make something used to taste nice. What do you call that? You ever heard farine? Farine. A lot of people don't know it's farine. Huh? Ram, you know it's farine? All right. So this is how it was. Imagine no cell phone, no telephone. Few people had radio. A man who had a bicycle, a Honda rally bike in those days, he was a rich man. Everybody walking. Think about it. Huh? You're going quarter mile inside the forest and a spring for water. Yes, think about it, how it used to be. They struggled and they persevered and they had fortitude. Our children will make them do better than us. And that is how the vote is. Look at the day after 181 years. Look at where we are in this land. So much. They're too educated now. Over-educated. Think about it. Right? And you always keep looking forward, not backward. What they went through was not much more from what the slaves had undergone. But in order for people to survive, your traditions are important. And this is what they are still, although under pressure, they were able to maintain it and cause it to survive. That is their religious beliefs, their cultural traditions and practices, their clothing, their food, right? All these things and so on were preserved. We lost the language to a great extent because it was not taught in the schools. At that time, more than 45% were East Indians, yet it was not taught. So the language devotee is kind of gone. And in order to get a job long time, well, if you are Indian, you're in real trouble. And if you had a Hindu name, worse. Right? That is what went on. Plenty of them converted and all these things and so on just to get jobs and all these things. But who held on for their way of life, they stood like a, how you call it, a soldier on the battlefield. Prepare to go wrong, but no retreat. So praise be to Sanatan Dharam. See, as we go along, we'll chat a little more about it, come into the month of May. And try to identify in your area, if you have elderly people and so on who were there at the time, who came, probably most of them died out and so on. But you hear the children speaking about the time of long ago, right? And the vote is where you had barracks set up and where they were staying and all these things and so on. Where you could identify these things, you have pictures and all these things and so on, you could bring it and we could look at each other and look at it and see. Knowledge is important. One of the things I'm telling you from now, try to make it for the month of May and visit the Indian Caribbean Museum in Karapichaima. That's going down to the cremation site on where the temple is in the sea. Right? Make it, do not go alone. Carry a family with you when you go in. And the amount of artifacts and so on there, you'll be very, very intrigued to see what is preserved. So praise be to Sanatan Dharam. You have come from the great rishis and the munis. Second to none, we follow a pathway of life. Second to none in the universe. The oldest scripture is the Vedas. And what the Vedas say, if you live for the sake of your dharma will protect you. Kakoi kabare ye mitro, Sanatan Dharam ki jai ho.
कहो एक बार हे मित्रों, सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
करो प्रचारो दुनिया में, सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
करो प्रचार दुनिया में, सनातन धर्म की जय हो।
ऋषि संतान होने को जो दावा मन में रखते हो, ऋषि संतान
होने को
जो दावा मन में रखते हो,
ना छोड़ो धर्म अपने को, सनातन धर्म की जय हो,
सनातन
धर्म की जय हो,
सनातन धर्म की जय
हो।
बोलो सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. Let this eternal pathway of our life be taught to all. Very important, and that's why you got to get, you see, long ago, the home used to be an orthodox home, where the practices were there in the home, right? It's not there again. And that's where now the centers, which are the temples and the mandirs and so on, become the center point where it has been practiced and carried on. And that's why we have to allow your children to gravitate towards these places. And as much as you can teach them and pass down to them, let them, it will grow in them, they will understand it, they will grow up with it. It becomes part of you after time. The holy environment of satsang was prevalent long time. Imagine they had satsang long time. You didn't have microphone and so on. They had the dholak, how you call it? The harmonium, kanjiri. Dhantal was invented in Trinidad, you know. Dhantal didn't come from India. That was invented down here. And they would sit down, devotees. Imagine in those days, you had lipe grong, right? The grong was liped with gobar. You had what you call chatai. Chatai is the tirit you plant with big mats, and they'll spread it out. Then you had pal. Where's pal? When you rip open a rice bag or a sugar bag, and you join the two together. You get pal, you're sitting on that. Who had board, you had to sit on the hard board on the ground. It didn't have soft chanting like now, and no air condition and the fan. Who had fan? But those days you could leave your house and windows open, nobody interfering. And satsang used to go on. Remember through the Satnarayan Brat Katha, the kutia was established on the full moon night. And there, when they gravitated towards the kutia for Satnarayan Katha, other activities started to take place there. You had learning of Hindi, you had little classes and all these things and so on. And the people started to come together. And these kutias like Sanagar Hindu Mandir was a kutia here. Look where it has evolved into. Beautiful temples like many others, right? So it's important that we get our children. We have to make the time. We have to balance the life. For again, a person without his traditions is a person like a person without an ID card. You have no identity. Yeah. You are identified by your customs, your traditions, and the lineage from which you come from. Bolo Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Let us join in a bhajan before we read. Very common. Satsang is to remind us our purpose in life here. The little time that we have, which we feel as be plenty, it ain't plenty. All of us here tonight, we don't know if you'll be here tomorrow, who will be here and who will not be here, right? Do you know how the lady used to sit down there with her husband and a family named Sherry from Komoto? Do you know she died this morning? Sherry Balak. Monday's the funeral. So we are here today and we don't know for tomorrow. Take advantage of it. That's why I tell you, do not waste this gifted. Man's greatest treasure is how much time we have, we do not know. We come alone, we go alone. Nobody belongs to us. The house, the land, the wealth, the assets, everything stay right here. The bhajan says, get in that environment where there is satsang. It is like going to the Ganges and bathing in the holy waters. This is what satsang does. Jhute janam gavaya sadhu, झूठे जन्म गवाया ओ साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया, झूठे जन्म गवाया साधु,
ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया।
एक पिता के हम सब लड़के, धरती हमरे माता। ओ एक पिता के
हम सब लड़के, धरती हमारी माता।
कुटुंब कबीला संगन साथे, कुटुंब कबीला संगन साथे, काल डंक बजाया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया ओ साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया, झूठे जन्म गवाया साधु,
ज्योति जन्म गवाया साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया।
दो दिन तो पहुनाई जगत में, माया में भर माया। ओ
दो दिन तो पहुनाई जगत में, माया में भर माया।
धन दौलत कुछ काम नु आवे, धन दौलत कुछ काम नु आवे, छूट जाएंगी यह काया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया ओ साधु,
ज्योति जन्म गवाया,
झूठे जन्म
गवाया
गवाया
साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया ओ साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया।
सत्संग की गंगा बही है, कोमल जिसका धारा। ओ सत्संग की
गंगा वही है, कोमल जिसका धारा।
करिय स्नान विमल कर खाया, करिय स्नान विमल कर खाया, पापिन पाप कराया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया साधु, झूठे जन्म गवाया, झूठे जन्म
गवाया साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया ओ साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया ओ साधु, ज्योति जन्म गवाया।
बोलो श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय। Do not waste this gifted life, for we are not here devotees forever. And the greatest treasure that we have is how much time we have devotees. Right? So take advantage whilst we are blessed with this human body. Kagmusun tells Garuda, whilst we are blessed with this body, lower Cretia's devotees, they beg for this body. And it's not easy to get. Okay? And we are not here forever. As we come one day, we have to leave one day. Remember, that is the only short thing in life. Once you come in this world, you have to go one day. King Dasrath was the earthly father of Shri Ram, and he had to leave. All what Ravan tried, he had to go. All what Hiranyakashipu tried, he had to go. Then really, who are you and me? So whilst we are here, what is the thing we are supposed to do whilst blessed in this body? Two simple things. Par and upakar. Serve the Lord and His creation with a guileless heart. Simply boiling down to doing good as much as you could, whilst you could, when you could, as long as you could. Do not wait for an opportunity to come to you to do a good. Look, get up and look for it. And the selfless actions, devotees, every action has a reaction to it. It do not go unnoticed. But those are the good karmas, and that is the great thing with Kali Yuga age. We have the privilege where we can burn bad karmas and build good ones. We have that privilege in Kali Yuga. But we have to decide again now on which team we play in the match. You can't play on both teams, either the spiritual team or the material team. Make up your mind, the choice is ours. All right? So devotees, Bhagavan Vishnu continues to educate us through Garuda. As he said, Garuda, what happens is that one should perform all these rites and rituals. Yes, definitely, as we born, we have to die. But we are unlike the other lower creatures. We are the highest in God's creation of 8,400,000 species of lives. And devotees, there's the main sanskar that is supposed to be performed called the Anteshti sanskar, the disposal of the body and all the rites and rituals that go with it, devotees. So again, what happened? It says here, these rites, when these rites and rituals are not performed, the soul does remain stuck in the spirit world until the end of creation. It cannot get released. And what are the main rites and rituals? After disposal, the offering of the pindas until the 10th day when you have the dasgatra or the shaving ritual. And then the bhandara should be performed. And then the 1 year bhandara should be performed. That is recommended here. It also makes mention of the 6 months bhandara. If a Gaudan was never done whilst the person was alive, it can be done there when the soul reaches Vaitarani at the end of 5.5 months. Okay? Also, too, during the course of the year, the soul does get to stop 16 times on the way. And offerings are made at a certain calculated intervals. Whereas if it's done and receiving it, the soul is fully energized and can move along. When someone dies during the course of the year, the soul takes the form of a preta spirit. It's only when the 1 year bhandara is done, then the soul moves on. And the sapindi ceremony is done, the soul moves on to another status of a pitra. So if these rites and rituals are not done, then you cannot have the elevation of the soul in this manner. So Bhagavan, devotees Vishnu, continues to explain through Garuda in this way. Hari Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Guru Charan Kamalibhyo Namo Namaha Hari Om Dwarashake Hari Om Tripache Kova Hari Om ko Shanamase ko Vatsarupi Kova Sapindi Karanyang Karananko Proktang Hari Om Muniko Bhashta Tattva ko Darshibho Mayatu ko Prokshati ko Tarkshaya Hari Om Shastra Dharam Anusarata Chahurna ko Meva ko Varnanam Hari Om Dvadashohi ko Sapindinam Hari Om Ananya ko Hari Om Sri Kali ko Dharmanang ko Hari Om Punang Sav ko Chaiva Yushya ko Chayati Astya ko Hari Om Ratavachariti ko Rasya ko Dvardesho ko Prashapate Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. Bhagavan Vishnu says, Garur, Shastru Kulbe ko sabko tumko ko kata hai, ki ko tumko barahadin me charo ko varno ka ko sapindi surat ko karte hai. As was mentioned before, for the different castes, as you mentioned, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and so on, they have different amount of days that the fasting, the cleanliness period should cut, and how many days after the bhandara and so on should be. But Bhagavan Vishnu comes back and says, in this age of Kali Yuga, right, it is standardized for 12 days. 10 days for the shaving and 12 days for the bhandara. Because the soul is the same in you, is the same soul in me. It's karma that causes the difference. Even too for a female, because the soul does not have gender. What causes gender is karma. Karma has caused a soul to be born in a male body or a soul to be born in a female body. Everything depends on that law of karma, but the soul is the same. So it standardized in Kali Yuga here to the 10 and the 12 days. Okay? The further we tend to go is the 13th day. It can't be done on the 12th, we do it on the 13th day in this manner. Hari Om Narayan Paramatmaye Namo Namah. क्योंकि कलयुग में धर्म का को हास को पुरुषी को आयु की को हरिओम अल्पता के होने से हरिओम को शरीर में को अस्थि रम्य को होने को 12 दिन को सब पिंडी को श्राद्ध करते हैं, सब पिंडी को श्राद्ध करते हैं. What is this, the श्राद्ध? The श्राद्ध is the bhandara. The bhandara has to be done. The shaving will be done 10 days after the death of the funeral of the person who died. Not from the day of death, but 10 days after the body is disposed of. So the person might have died last week, and the funeral is today. You check from today. 10 days from today will be the shaving or the dasgat ritual. And from that morning, you're going to have the pinda and offering and so on. And by the eligible person who is authorized to do it, devotees. This is a serious thing, you know. We see people doing for their loved ones, and you call it. If you have something to do and you have to go by, an authorized person to do it. People who have license and who qualified and whatever and so on to get the thing done. So it tells you here that person who is supposed to do these rites and ritual must be a Brahmana. He must have done his Janev ceremony, living that type of life. Okay? Then he is authorized because the sankalp that is read. You see when Baba tell you, take your name in your mind. He give you a pan leaf with douglas and rice and a supari and so 25 cents and a flowers. He said, take your name in your mind and meditate on Lord Vishnu. You want this that you are going to do today to be sanctioned in your Akashic records in the heavens. There are people authorized to do that, only then it is documented up there. Other than that, it come like writing a check for somebody on a block of ice. It's wasted away. This is what the scriptures tell you. So your loved one passes away, you want to get a correct individual to do the rites and rituals that the soul could get the benefit, or else it remains stuck in the spirit world until eternity. Very, very important. Okay? And so devotees, what happened? Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamalibhyo Namo Namaha. And why it cut down to this 10 and 12 in Kali Yuga? Because of the contamination of this age. Because of the impediments that we have. It has so much restrictions. You know, when somebody dies, that son really not supposed to sleep on the bed, you know. You're supposed to sleep on the ground. Right? And observe all the various rites and rituals and all these things. But today it was hard. People had to hustle, get up to go to work. You had to go and make a day work, or else you could lose your job. So because of Kali Yuga, the same thing Bhagavad tells you too. In Kali Yuga, that's why he recommended the Bhagavad in 7 days' time. By the modern rules and regulations, really, we don't really observe it as we should. Right? Because of Kali Yuga, we tend to get away. All right? Hari Om. Yagyopavit ko utsavadi ko. Hari Om Sri Treta Dhapan ke ko vivaha ki. Ye ko shubha ko karya ko griha ka ko malika kar mar ko jai. To nahi ki hota hai. Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. You know what it says here? If a Brahmin householder dies, definitely that Janev ceremony cannot be done. Right? Not only for him, but for others. The fulfillment of it. Any vows like marriage and so on should not take place. That's why it does tell you, wait the 1 year. All right? Again, other ceremonies again shall not be done until the Sapindi ceremony has been done. So what has happened is a present matter you have to do. You'll do a 3 months bhandara. And then you go on with it, but you scale it down. Or 6 months bhandara, and then you go ahead with it, but scale down. But the 1 year has to be done. You have to do it. So that's why I tell you all these rites and rituals and so on that you will have planned, you have to put it up. Put it off then. And if you're connected by blood, it does affect you too. Right? So the fellow said, well, he brother died and didn't talk in. And then he leave his religion and change another religion. And Baba, I have a prize coming up, you know. I can't study here, you know. What to do there? Huh? All us blood connected, the same lineage, blood as your brother. You have to remain and hold for that 1 year if you could. Yeah. You have to, because you become unclean. And you know, Indian thing is done because he changed his religion and got in next side. He been unclean all the time. At home. You see it? So that's why when the restrictions come with the bloodline then where the, how you call it, you have to observe the state of mourning in this respect. So all these have to put off. If you have a death occurring, you have a wedding coming up, you can't go on with it again, you have to hold back. But again, I say, there are certain stipulations whereby you could still do the little bhandara and go ahead with it. But you had a house to build, or you were to go in the house and the death take place, you have to do these rituals, and then you could go ahead with it. But scale it down, still, until the 1 year is done. Then the home becomes, again, normalized. Hari Om Bhagavan Vatsalam. Now, what is this Sapindi ceremony, devotees? Now, what has happened most of the time we go to a bhandara, we tend to reach late. All right? You have to go early because remember, bhandara does take nearly about 5 hours. It's 2 sections. One where offering the pindas and the other part is the Gita part. But the part where the offering of the pindas is, that's what a lot of people already sit around watch it. And that's why the bedi has to be a certain length. Because you'll offer, all right, on that bedi, 11 pindas first, and it tell you who they are for. The soul will only get 1 pinda, which is the 10th pinda, but to receive the 10th pinda, it had to get all. Then you put 5 more pindas to make it 16, that is the Narayan Balya pindas, which is mentioned, we read of that. 1 pinda will put for the bigger pin, that's for souls that come along and so on. And you have 4 pindas with a little baby like. People used to feel like the person's body. If you make that baby on the ground, you figure that's the body. This is the trunk and that's the head. It has nothing to do with it. And the Sapindi ceremony is where you'll have a big pinda and 3 little ones. The big pinda is on behalf of the person who died, and the 3 smaller ones are for to connect with the ancestors. Right? We'll hear it a little while and let us see then. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Until that Sapindi has been done, a mendicant who is a holy person, he should not receive alms from that house, nor devotees, and devotees, no guest offering should be made. That is, you don't give out nothing from the house. When somebody dies, they tell you that. Even the shaving day, food does not given out. The immediate family will cook and eat and so on and things there. But to say to carry, none will carry until the Sapindi ceremony is performed, which is the first bhandara. And in that bhandara, where the 4 pindas on this side, the big one with the 3 one, you will notice a certain part after worshiping them, Baba will take a kokie, right? They tell you really a gold thread, right? A kokie or a piece of kush grass, cut it, and you'll get 3 parts, and they are mixed with the others. That is the Sapindi. Unless that is done, the home still remains Shutihar. We just say, well, when you read Gita and so on. But that has to be done according to it. No guest offering should be made, and no holy person should take anything from that home. Unless that Sapindi ceremony is done. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Karamalopase ko prativan ko lagata hai. Hari Om. Shri Bhagwan Vishnu bole, isliye ko Hari Om Shri Sanik yahan ko nirginak ko 12 में कोटिन को Sapindi श्राद्ध को करते की होता है. He said again, devotees, by the omissions again offer all these rites, right? sinfulness arises in that home and those who take from the home. See it? Sinfulness arises out of that. Think about it. Therefore, Bhagwan Vishnu said the Sapindi ceremony should be done on that day. And that is the day devotees when the Bhandara is done. All right, 12, 13 day. It has no shortcut. This is what I'm showing you. It has no shortcut in that. It has to be done. It's supposed to be done. You have to do it. All right? Through the mantras, you'll see when that pinda is cut, it is joined first. Now, how does the lineage connect? You're going to hear just now, eh? Hari Om. Sab tirto me ko jako phal ko snanadi ke ko Hari Om Srindra Puro ko shilta hai yagyadi ka ko karne ke yoko phol ko ऊपर को लंबा को होता है वहाँ को सबको 12 दिन में सपिंडी श्राद्ध को करते मिलते हैं विष्णु भगवान की जय. It says the fruits accrued or achieved then from going on places of pilgrimage, performance of yajnas and so on. The fruit that is gotten devotees is received even more by doing the Sapindi ceremony. By that son doing the Sapindi ceremony, equal, going to all the tirat and all the spiritual yajnas and all these things that you may do, to do that on behalf of your father, mother, or whosoever may have passed away then. Okay? Then what happened again? Having taken a bath, Hari Om Putra Snan me kar ko mrita ko, stan par ko, Hari Om Siddhi Gomai se ko, lepate kar ko, Shastro ko, Vakti ko Vidhi ko, Sapindi Srat ko karte hai, Siddhi Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. That person must take a bath, and having taken a bath, devotees, the place should be smeared with gobar. Gobar is an antiseptic. When you leave a place with gobar, do you know a bedi is only prepared to accept the devatas when you leave it with fresh gobar from a heifer? It's only then the devatas has come. Really and truly too, we don't do that, but long time when they make a havan couldn't wrong. You go leave it. Right? One or two places you go and you see the same havan pot, they take gobar and leave it inside. We just put foil. But the antiseptic there is the gobar. You could leave inside a havan couldn't do, you know. Okay? That is an antiseptic. It purifies the whole issue where these rites and rituals have to be performed. The son should perform that Sapindi ceremony as prescribed. All right? And then worship the world deities, devotees with the 16 modes of worship. Now again, you will notice, after the Bhandara is complete, then what puja you have now? Yeah? You say the Gita part. And in the Gita part, who you worship in there? Bhagwan, Krishna, Ganesh, Gauri, Prithvi, Kalsa, Navgraha, all the other deities and them. You worship all of them with Lord Krishna, the focus. So he said, Par Arkvachmaniyam Adiko Vishwike Devo ke pujan kar ki bhumi ke इसे विकिर को पिंड से हाथ में को प्रश्नालन को कर को आचमन करते हैं. Hari Om. Bhagwan Vishnu is saying, offer his 16 modes of worship now to the divinities there. And again, in that Shraddha devotees itself, when you're doing the Shraddha, you will notice all the aspects of worship will be done to the pindas. You offer water, you bow, you offer clothing, you offer chandan, hardi, sindur, when you do the Shraddha ceremony. Okay, in the Shraddha ceremony, when the pindas are offered, you worship the pindas. All right? And he should then again, Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Now how it is? Isi prakar pitamaha prapitamaha kovrit prapitamaha. Right? Look at it. If his father has died, and he is doing that rite and rituals on behalf of his father, that is son, the soul is linked with his Aja, his grand Aja, and his great grand Aja. Right? On the male side, it connects with his father. Remember, the father died, so the son doing it on behalf of the father. So that big pinda there is on behalf of the father. And the other 3 pindas there will be for the Aja, the Grand Aja, and the Great Grand Aja. On the male side, then in this way. Hari Om Na Etino Meko, Hari Om Sri Vasurudra ko, Arka ko, Isko, Anukram ko, Seko, 3 pinda ko, Chatur pinda ko, Mata ko Devi Hai. Then again, what happened? They represent devotees in the form of Vasu, Rudra, and Ark. And the 4th pinda there is the one offered on behalf of the soul, that big one. Right? You offer, so you notice Baba will worship that big pinda first, and after completing that worship, the 16 modes of worship there, then you'll worship the other 3. Tebhya Swadhana Maha. Right? If you listen to the mantra, Mayadi Patishtatam, you offer on there. But when you reach these ancestors, Tebhya Swadhana Maha. There's a difference. Remember, they're the class of Pitras now. So different mantras are used in that manner. And the same way again, you offer the 16 modes of worship there. Right? Food, tambul, and dakshina, and all these things are offered. And what is one of the main food that is offered at that time? Sahari and sweet rice. That's a Devta food, and the Pitras like that too. Do you know, devotees, Sahari is the only roti can stay without refrigeration, and I feel it can stay about 2 weeks or more. The more stale it gets, the better is the taste. So long ago, when our forefathers and them were traveling, they leaving home to go out. Remember, they walk in. From where they live in, they come to meet the train in those days. Right, Taman, I think they walk in on Kumoto to meet the train. They had the train passing Kumoto where the new highway is there. They didn't have fast food outlets. Right? No double something in those days and so on like you've seen today. So what is to carry and sustain on? Sahari and sugar. They didn't have fridge. So this thing was spoiled. You could remain without refrigeration. And they will subsist on that, devotees, this Sahari and the sugar. And that food also is a divine food. Now what is good to remember too, Indian arrival coming on. Long ago, in any Hindu home and ritual that you have, the roti used to be Sahari. Sahari was the roti, nothing else. Wedding, puja, whatever be it, Sahari. And Sahari is a healthy roti because it's fried in ghee, not oil. You see it? It's fried in ghee. We only make it now when you have Durga Puja or, again, for Shraddha purposes and so on. But that was a norm in every occasion the Hindu home has. Either Sahari, Dosti, or Dalpuri. Right? But Sahari was like Devta food in this manner. So you offer in bhojan, all these things and so on, on the behalf of the Pindas and so on. Hari Om, listen again. Suvaran ko, Shalaka, Seko, Usme ko, Preta Pindaka, Teen ko, Histami kar ko, Unme ke Hari Om, Bhogo ka ko, Pita Maha ko, Teen Pindame ko, Mirde hai. A tin bar of gold thread, right, is used after worshipping the Pindas and them to cut the big pinda into 3 parts. That is mentioned here. As I told you today, we use a coquille or a piece of kush grass. Right? You will see the judgment, it big like a U, one hand on this side, one on this side. When you press it, you're going to cut and get 3 parts. And these 3 are now mixed. The first part is mixed with the first pinda, which is for the aja. So you'll see him hold it in his hand. Baba will tell him, hold it in the left hand, make a little sink in it, put a little black till, a little ghee and honey in it, and take up the aja pinda and hold it in this hand. So you have it like this. And by the mantras that will be chanted, right, this is how symbolically they are linked, they are joined. He will take the one for the aja and join it with his piece. So you get one pinda, he link with the aja. He put on that. Then the next one now is for the grand aja. Second piece, link in with the grand aja. And the third piece now is for the great grand aja. So from the 4 pindas, you end up with 3. Because that big one merged into the 3 other ones. And here Vishnu Bhagwan is saying, unless this is done, it ain't complete. The place still remains Chutihar, according to what he's saying here. That Sapindi ceremony has to be done. So when you work it out, you're going to see that's how the Pindas will come in. 11 first, then 5 for the Narayan Balya, and 4 on this side make it, right? So 11 and 5 will give you 16 there, and 4 here, which is 20, and 1 for the Bikar pin, 21 Pindas. And that is standardized by the SDMS here. 21 Pindas. Now like this, you have an Adhik Mass from the 17th of May to the 14th of June, right? Anytime there's a death and you have an Adhik Mass, and that falls in the 1-year period, no Pinda offering will be done in that month. But at the end of the 1-year Bhandara, you offer back an extra Pinda to pick up the slack for this one here. So instead of 21 you have there, you have 22 in case of an Adhik Mass. It's simple, it's logical, and it's practical. And one of the things is, Dharananda does make it so easy for you. Once you have him wrong, you have no problem. Lock, stock, and barrel, everything, you make it so simple and easy. Yeah, really help another situation. So you see where this is not a make-up thing. Lord Vishnu is saying to Garuda, is guiding us through Garudaji in this manner. Hariam isi prakar, he Garuda, yadi ko matambar ko jai, to usme ko bhi ko uska prakar. Hari Om Sri Kare, Pitamahi Aditya ko Pitamahi ko Prapitamahi, Vrit Prapitamahi, Namase ko Sapindi Karya ko mere mat karte hai. Now hear what's going on, right? So if the father died, he is linked with the Aja, Granaja, and Great Granaja. But here devotees, if his mother had died, right, the Sapindi ought to be done. And the mother devotees, right, will link with the boy Aji. In other words, he is doing it on behalf of his mother, right? So she will be linked, the same pendas, cotton and everything here, but the 3 pendas of the ancestors will now be for his Aji, his grand Aji, and his great grand Aji. If anyone is alive, you skip them and go to the other one. Or in other words, her mother-in-law, her grandmother-in-law, and her great-grandmother-in-law. You see, all you don't put the lady in a pepper sauce bottle, please, because you have to link up with her one day. You see it? Think about it. You had to connect with her somewhere down the road, right? If she was never married, then she's linked with her nanny, her grandnanny, and her great-grandnanny. But once with marriage, line is cut and go across. Right? Treat the lady good. Right? Like the lady, you have to link up with she anyhow you take it someday down the road. Okay? Nobody here to live forever. Everybody go die one day and go. You'll be able to have your own way in the home or whatsoever. Don't put the lady in a pepper sauce bottle. Then don't treat her bad. I'll tell you why. You see what goes wrong, that's come wrong, eh? Right? One time, it had a boy, okay? His parents, right, were there. But the girl a little older, so the boy married. So that the old man already guiding the young people how to settle and live and all them things and so on. Try a progressive life. The girl tell the boy, she say, hey, you have to get rid of them 2 old people, Me come here to slave for them, It's either you want me or you want them. So the boy start to think because she only pestering him all the time, boy. We start to get fed up. He's studying. They all already, they going to die soon. But you're going to need a wife. She said to get rid of them, Poor fella, you know what to do. Take up the old man and the old lady, carry them in the forest and put them below a tree. He said, Bap and bye, all you wait here, we'll come back for you in a while, eh? So the old man really sat down there. He come back, he gonna meet his wife and he started to live. Tigers and eat them in the forest. He had a son. Both of them had a son. And they're happy too bad. Life going good. The child grow up, I think they get the child married. When the boy married now, and he bring the wife home, right? The same issue. Them old people, me come for no slave for them, you know. Right? If you want me, you have to get rid of them, you know. And she pestered and the boy take them up, not knowing, look how things work out. He carried them in the forest, the same place, he put them down there. And he said, Bap and Mai, relax here, I'll come back in a while. So the father called the child, he said, son, don't go, don't go. He said, why? He said, you won't come back. He said, yes. You know, he said, no, 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 you wouldn't come back. He said, how you know that? He said, because I put my mother and father right here, and I leave them there, and tigers eat them. And I know you're doing the same thing here. Do not go, do not leave us. The boy take up his mother and father, and he bring them home, and put the wife to sit down, and put the cat on the table. Right? You're supposed to help me with the old people and them. One day, two of you get old too, what will happen? Same thing with Sarwan Kumar, you know. Sarwan Kumar's wife went and make a pot, make the blacksmith make a pot with a division in the center, you know. On one side cooking nice, it was she and she husband, on the other side is blind couple have to eat whatever. Yeah. And Sarwan realized that, he sent her home by her parents, and he made the bahangi and put the father and mother in it and started to go on place of pilgrimage. According to this, Vishnu Bhagwan is saying that daughter-in-law will link with the mother-in-law and the grandmother-in-law and the great-grandmother-in-law. Right? So think about it. You're going to need them down the road. Right? Live good, live good. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamali Bhyo Namo Namam. इसी प्रकार को पिता को मरने पर हरियरी को पितामह को हरिओम जीवित हो तब को पितामही को नाम के को तीन पिंडा को देता है. Therefore 3 pindas again will be offered to the grand Aji, the Aji, the grand Aji, and the great grand Aji. All right? Again, if Aji is alive, you go to the grand Aji, great grand Aji, great great grand Aji. Who is alive, you skip them. Same thing when you're doing Tarpan. For Petra Paksh time, if the person is alive, you leave them out. The person has passed away, then you make offering for them. Right? So you have to know as you go along then. Narayana Bhakti Kevalam. And as the Father Pinda is divided into 3 parts and linked with the Aja, the Grand Aja and the Great Grand Aja, so too again. इसी प्रकार वैसे ही माता के मरने पर यदि को पितामही जीवित हो तो को पितृवेन को मातृ श्राद्ध कर को यहाँ को पितामही को स्थान पत्र को हरिओम श्री विष्णु ना को मोचारण को तब पिंडा को रखे और को पितामही को स्थान में को महालक्ष्मी को नाम का को पिंडा रख उनमें को दोनों को पिंड को हरिओम श्री मिलन कर श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. So therefore it tells you here, the son is performing the shraddha on behalf of his mother who has passed away. And in the same like manner, devotees, the shraddha is done just as you will do it for the father. But it is linked here with the Aji, Grand Aji, and Great Grand Aji. Okay? And again, devotees must be done with love, faith, and belief devotees, but they are represented here by divinities themselves. Narayana Bhakti Kevalam Charan Kamalibhyo Namo Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Now it tells you here, if a husband, devotees, and wife, they ascend the funeral pyre. That was a practice long time, and she gave up her body with the husband and Sati Hoke, it don't have to be separate because she's part of him there, having so the 2 of them could be done together. The husband and the wife, because she's in oneness with him then in this manner. Okay? Narayana Bhakti Kevalam Guru Charan Kamali Bhyo Namo Namam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Pratame ko ek hi ko putra pita ka निमित्त पिंड को दान आदि को तथा स्नान कर को माता का को सपिंडीकरण कर को देता है. He said only one son should really perform the rites. All right? So a man have plenty sons, but one alone can sit around and do it. But I feel all of them want to sit around so to get away from the work. Because they have plenty of work. So you just sit around there, they have nothing to do. They only touching hands. Right? So one son will be doing all the offerings and all these things and so on. The others just touching hands. But one son is eligible to do it. The same thing to with cremation and thing too. Right? They say how to get 5. You get 5 and one of them drunk. What are you going to do? Huh? One of them are fasting properly and so on. If the son alone can do it. When Indira Gandhi died, you saw her son alone did it Rajiv Gandhi in India. Right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years working out to suit in this manner. But the son who is the blood connected there is the most important person. And it explained again, you see, we passed this katha before. The son has to shave his head and leave a churki. Bhagavan Vishnu says, what kind of son is that who don't want to shave his head? You're supposed to shave out this hair and you leave the churki because this is the pineal gland here, where the highest point devotees of the chakra. The hair should be shaven with the face and so on, moustache and so on. And you have to shave, that's the day of the funeral and the day for the shaving. They didn't say take a low trim, shave your head. It's very simple. Here, let's go back fast. Many people have shaved their head today because they're cheaper and go to the Baba regularly. Look, Tishdong says he's going to tell you. All right? But you're supposed to shave your head. If you're a son, the only time you could do it is for your father or your mother when they die. Right? You will never get the opportunity to do it again. What is too hard to do it for them? So this should be devotees in this manner. Hari Om Sri Vishnu Aye Paramatamaye Namo Namam Narayan Bhakti Kevalam Charam Kamalibhyo Namo Namam Hari Om. As I mentioned to you, the person who ascends the fire with her husband, okay, give up the mortal coil. The same day for the husband, it can be done together with him in this manner. He Garuda sapindakar ko pitri arpan ko deva mantri ko dwara ko swaha kar ko ucharan kar isi prakar ko Hari Om Shri अतिथि को जो को भोजन करावे और को हटकार को सदा को काल करी को जिसमें पितर मुनि को देव दानव को आदि तृप्त होता है श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय नारायण परमात्माये गोविंदाये नमो नमः चरण कमलेभ्यो नमो. After the Sapindi devotees is performed, then tarpan should be done to the ancestors and you offer swadha to them along with Vedic mantras. Now what is the tarpan? When Baba finished, cut the pindas and joined them and so on, he said, okay, and the best contraction for tarpan devotees is what Dharan and prepare. You have to break your back. Okay? Where you go by the kush grass and you make offering on the kush grass. Good? Now, a good thing to also know, we are accustomed using the metive grass, right? What is the kush grass? The kush grass is called the needle grass. You know where that grass came from? When Bhagwan Vishnu took the form of the wild boar, when Hirnakshas taken the earth and subdued it in the netherworld, for creation to take place back, Bhagwan had to retrieve the earth. And he took the form of the wild boar, Vrautar. And when he went down to the netherworld, he took the earth on his tusk. And when he leaped from the ocean and he shook his body, the bristles that fell on the earth became the kush grass. And from the sweat of the body of Lord Vishnu, the till came, the sesame seed. Right? So what I'm saying is, yes, we work accordingly and we use what is available. But I think, to be honest, is that we could try to identify, I always say, let me try to identify with the originality. If for some reason you can't, well, then you go with what is near. So all of us are accustomed with Metive is kush grass. Metive is a family of the kush, but it's not the kush. The kush grass is the needle grass, and every year for Pitra Paksh, Mr. Ramnayan from Mafikin, they'll bring a whole set in the temple here and give to people to carry home. The first time he brought, I have a plant from that, it's still alive. You just can't plant it and leave it, you have to care for it. And you could give to others too, and people, huh? True? Okay, all right. So you see, we can start identify with that, the original one, because we could get it still. It don't grow all about, but you could get it still. And he has get some big one up by him in African up there. So when Peter Pakistan come in, it's good if you know and you want, he'll bring here once he's here. And other people who may know it too, you could bring it. If somebody have, you could bring it here and you can identify it also. So the Kush devotees, you offer the thing. You offer devotees tarpan, all right, on to the ancestors. And you will notice that your face is not, you're only making for the ancestors alone. Tarpan is paying gratitude to every aspect of the universe that has made a contribution that we could be living healthy and happy here. So you notice Baba will tell you first, face the east. And the tarpan will fall from the tip of your fingers here. Then you tell you face the north. You go open below the palm of your hand and let it fall there. And when you have to face south now, you put a piece of kush grass between the thumb and index finger on the right hand, it will fall like that. Right? So the east and the north goes for all the others, and the south will be for the departed and others and so on. And how is that done, devotees? You offer back in the same like manner. Tarpan on behalf, if your father had died, father, Aja, Grand Aja, Great Grand Aja. All right? Mother, Aji, Grand Aji, Great Grand Aji. On the next side, you have Nana, Grandnana, Great Grandnana. Then you have Nani, Grandnani, Great Grandnani. And then you start to think of now, Baba will ask you who in the family had died. Have you lost any children? You offer for them. You have any brothers who died, any sisters who died? Your father had any brother who died? Your mother have any brother who died? Brother-in-law, all of them, even your guru, guru's wife, and so on. So everybody you could offer, you give tarpan on that. And this is something very important, especially at the time of Pitra Paksh. But you will see the tarpan being done when you go to a bhandara. And Baba finished Kodipendas and join them. Then you go to do the tarpan as mentioned here. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. After that is done and completed, all right? Hari Om. अतीर्थार को भोजन करावे और को हटकार वहाँ को सदा काल में करे को जिसमें को पितर मुनि देवी दानव उनको तृप्त होता है. Then the devotee says here, a guest should be fed, right? And until he recites the word hanta, right? By this the pitras, the sages, and the shining ones again and so on, and others, they become pleased in this manner. Now, really and truly, you see, they program it in such a way to make it easier for us too. So after that pinda offering and so on, when that complete, then you'll organize the Gita part. Some people may take out the food at that junk here too. Right? Once this stride is finished here, they take out the food right there. Again, some again, at the end of the Gita part, you take out and you bless all. Because sometimes they have finished cook yet. Because the Gita part will take a little while too, so you give them a little more chance to cook. But if the food is prepared too, it could be taken out there. Now, one of the shares of the food really supposed to be for a guest. They say the first person to arrive at that point in time should be given to them. Right? Nobody else wants to take it, so it is feed it in the fire. That's the one who's feeding the fire. And there are devotees, certain species recommended to receive these shares of food. And Pitri food had to be real clean and real pure. The people who making it, preparing it, had to be clean and pure because you'll get cursed afterwards. That's why, again, we don't have food when we are cooking. All right? It's always better you do like, you prepare food to take out for the pitras and so on. Make 2 sada roti that you could prepare home. To feed your guests, you can order the next one if you want. But you know how you make in this one. Long time is how we call a bhandari. One person alone operate in the kitchen. So you got to tell whatever person he is. But today we need help. Everybody coming to help. You don't need the maid before they come. You know what they eat last night. You this, that. We don't know. But the food has to be clean, and devotees, it had to be pure vegetarian, and with all the dishes. So the cow is blessed to receive a share. Gau Mata. But what is the food for the cow? What is the food cow like to eat? Grass. Curry and rice I really make for cow. Eh? All that pomsiti and mango talcari and thing with all that masala and pepper and thing, it can make for the cow. Grass is the food. Okay? Or probably you're going to get some fruits and so on. The cow will eat that, eh? All right. A quadruped receives a share, a 4-footed creature. And the greatest quadruped you could feed is a dog. When you feed a dog, Lord Maraj just be very, very pleased. There's a certain bird in India called the kak. Yeah, kak busunji is a little black bird. We don't have it in Trinidad. But you just leave a share for all the birds. You put on a hide. And pipili is you put one on the ground for all crawling insects and so on and things, moving about and so on, for they to feed on too. Right? So that one is they spoke about here, that guest is that first person reaching the point, you have to give him it. So nobody want to take it, so we just offer it to the fire. So that's and one goes for you take out one on behalf of the soul. The prayed bhojana. You'll notice that in Trinidad here we prepare an ice plate with the katahar leaf. You plant it using coquille or toothpick or whatsoever and so on. And that will be for that the prayed devotees in this way. Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. Now it tells you here that a mouthful of food is called alms, and 4 mouthfuls is and 4 mouthfuls you have this in abundance, right? 1 mouthful of food takes the position of if alms is given. But if 4 mouthfuls are given, it's called abundance. And for abundance now, like 16, is called hantakara. Hantakara. All right? Sapindi ko sradin ko hariyam, chandana akshat ko brahman ko charan mein puja kar ko akshat, akshay ko ana ko grita ko, सुवर्ण को चांदी को गांव को घोड़ा को हाथी में रथ को भूमिका सबको आचार को देता है. Now with the Sapindikaran ceremony, right, he should worship a Brahmana. It mentioned who had to worship and who you had to worship, a Brahmin. By washing his feet, wiping it, putting chandan, offering arti, incense, all the gifts and so on, for his continued devotee satisfaction. And he should really maintain that Brahman for a whole year by us supplying him with the necessaries to live. Serious or no? Yeah. And for a year, I tell you here, enough ghee and enough food and enough gold and enough silver and a good cow and a horse and elephant chariot and all these things should be given to the Brahmana or the Guru in this way. Well, why people want to do this thing again? Right? People work according to their means. All right? But the important thing is giving. You see, Gita comes back and tell you, making a gift to an undeserving person, right? You get no benefits and you going down in hell. That is why you have to know who the person you're gifting to. right? You want to be recorded, and when you go up there and they check in your Akashic record, you know you did all this thing on this earth. And when they check in your account, they didn't see nothing booked down. They write it with invisible ink. If that sankalp is not read by that correct person, nothing is documented up there. Very important to note. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha. He should worship again with mantras and saying again, hail to thee, and so on. इसी प्रकार के हरि ओम श्री पृथक रोली को केसर अक्षर को नैवेद्य को हरि ओम ग्रहणों को देविका को विनय को का पूजन को करे है श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय. You should again devotees, it says here, the planets worship again Ganesh, Gauri, all of these and so on, with Hardi and all the necessary puja steps and so on, and the eatables and so on. Achar ko, mantro ke ko, so visheshkar ko, Hariam Raksha Suta ko, Dahine ko, हाथ में को, भंडवा को, यजमान कर को, हाथ में को, रक्षा बोध को, हाथ में को, अक्षत को, दे को, विसर्जन को करे गए. So remember, after the food could be taken out there after the Shraddha is done, or sometimes it's done after the Gita part and so on is done, when Baba comes to completion of it and so on. And after that, here what is mentioned here, the Guru again, or the person conducting the ritual, should then with mantras, right, sprinkle water and tie a raksha for the judgment. A raksha should be tied. That is, rakshas are tied with mantras, they are talismans, right? And most time we just have it for style, okay, because it becomes contaminated. You see somebody with it and they're going in KFC. Think about it, right? The first issue is that we're supposed to be vegetarians. Because you are just right here and feeding different things in the mouth and again contaminated. And right here. So it's something you have to maintain, not just for looks then or to identify as a Hindu whatsoever, but you want to maintain the sanctity of it and for it to do the work that it is there for. Okay? But a raksha should be tied, devotees, under Hari Om Narayan, all with mantras and so on. He should then again feed devotees. इसी प्रकार को तदनकर को नाना प्रकार में को मिक्षान से को ब्राह्मण को भोजन कराकर जल में को पूरन को दक्षिणा का मारक सहित को 12 को घरे में को अनुक्रम को से ब्राह्मण जल को स्पर्श को क्षत्रिय आयुर को स्पर्श को वैश्य चाबुक को शुद्ध दंड को स्पर्श करे तो को पवित्र हो को जाता है. Then devotees again, he should feed the brahmanas. You see, notice what is happening here. When the Shraddha is finished, okay, long time they'll go and go look for all the brahmans and bring them to sit down to eat. And yet you're supposed to bring them to eat, you know. You're supposed to wash their feet. Right? Do that first. Wash their feet, wipe it and so on. If I want socks, you take out the socks so they wash your foot now. Think about that. And then usher them to come and sit down. And you're supposed to sit down on the ground to eat. Sitting down on the ground is Brahm Bhojan. Sattvic Bhojan, the highest way to sit and eat is on the ground. When you sit on the chair, that is Rajasic. And Tamasic in Bhagavad we explain, you take your food and you walk in up and down, or you posture in the dwari and so on eating, that is the worst. But the custom of sitting on the ground is diminishing. We don't have it again. And you might end up with a problem to sit on the ground with your back or whatsoever and so on. But that really, the traditions of long ago, everybody will line up on the ground. We got it as puja, we got it as shraddha, we got it whatever it is, you will sit on the ground to eat. Few places you see that happening right now. Everybody grab the table. Normally, the son or the sons who do the shraddha, they will face the south. Okay? And the brahmanas will be opposite, either east or west or north. All right? When food is taken out, what is our custom down here? That food must not jutha. Now the problem when you sit down to eat with others, you have to watch them carefully because somebody go jutha the food before you bless it. So that's why there's one place one side for you and the judgment to eat there. And you have to warn them too. Do eat until you bless the food, Because we're so tempted, you know. And after blessing that food, then what has happened? You take out little bits, everybody got to take out little bits, put on a special leaf that fed to the river, the fishes and so on. And Baba will tell the judgment, eat 5 mouthfuls of food first. That will satisfy the 5 senses of perception. Seeing, tasting, touching, smelling, and hearing. Drink something, and then we going ahead. But devotees, until the Brahman eats, that yag is not pure or becomes successful. It's only when the Brahmin eats, juthas that food and partakes of it, the soul becomes satisfied. So if you have a non-Brahmin doing that ritual for you, you understand what has happened? The soul is not getting it. It's important to note this. It's through the Brahmana. But the Brahman eating, that's why you see you have to beg them, eat more, take some more again, you know. More you eat is the better. Right? When guests come, more you eat is better. Now really we have changed certain traditions and so on, and depend on time, place, and situation. The correct way to feed a guest is put the guest sit down, and you come with the food and share for them. That is the greatest way to serve people. You come and bring the food and share it for them. Not to line up and collect your food. Right? Not to line up and collect food. You see a long line from down there to up here and everybody with a plate waiting. I feel it come like you're begging. I mean, we just do it. Since the pandemic, COVID and so on, we have changed the whole operation. And it really is a faster way to move and so on and do. But what I'm telling you, the highest way really, I mean, you might be in your home, you have a little presence on, serve your guests, that's the way. You have plenty, it'll move faster if you have to line up. But it's good to know this. And that's why you see we have traditions that have been left out because of the time that goes by. It's Indian Arrival Day. Let us remember these things. I'll tell you how it was long ago. I remember as a little boy, when you sit down with them pundits to eat, okay? You palti mari on the ground with your leaf, rice and dal, and curry, whatsoever in those days. They'll pass a bottle of homemade ghee. Not called brane, homemade ghee. And everybody had to take some ghee in the dal. Now if you have a good stomach, you're in trouble, right? You can't sit down with them and eat. You have to take ghee, or else get up. Yeah. And if you only make a mistake and eat before they give you a signal to eat, they tell you that's a sin in Purana, by breaking the meal rope. That's a sin, you know. It has the standard of etiquette that is to operate in those days. You'll wait when they give the okay, let's go ahead and eat now. Baba go jutha the food and everybody will start. When you're done it there, nobody is to get up unless you get permission to get up. That is how high the etiquette was in those days. You have to wait till everybody done eat. Then the judgeman will come and pick up all the leaves. A great service too, they bring a bucket with water or a mug and they wash your hands right there too and so on. That's service you are doing to your guest in this way. But nobody will get up there unless you get the okay to go. As a little boy, I remember growing up with those types of rules and regulations. They don't apply today, right? You sit down with people to eat, one fella don't eat, he jump up fast and he gone. He has studied who eat and who eat and whatsoever. You put the food, everything the blessed, fella started to jutha at one time. And the judgment is the person, I'm talking when you have your simple puja, he put out all the money, nothing at cheap in our price again. The man spent all the money to prepare all his food and you want to get the blessing of it. And before the pandit could bless it, you don't jutha it already. You spoil. Once the food is jute high, you cannot offer it to the Lord. No way, no way, no way. It could be a child or who was, say innocent or whatsoever. I remember long ago that when you had puja too, and you have people come to help, our section come to help, they will make a little pot of khichdi one side, a little pot of soup or something one side. If they're hungry, they go eat that. But the food you have prepared for your prayers, they had to clean one side until Baba done. Baba go bless it and then partake of it. Yeah. Nobody to jutai it and so on. So these are, it's good to know. Young people will not know it because these traditions, have gone and so on. So it tells you here that devotees, he must feed. So they feed the brahmanas and so on. And devotees, he should again, Narayan Bhakti Kevalam, various type of pleasant, sweetened food and so on. All the different tastes and so on you bring. So some people have asked, well, Baba, how much dishes you have to prepare? How many dishes you have to prepare when you have a bandara? Any amount you could prepare. Up to over 65 dishes you could prepare, You wouldn't believe. Because everything is counted as one there. When you add up this one and that and whatsoever and so on. Right? Look at things you don't see in prayers and long lives always have. It's something called dahi bara. Right? They call it sarabara. You don't see that again so. And besides that, when you're done eating that row, before you get up, they pass in a bottle with dahi out. Dahi. So you sit down and drink a glass of dahi before you get up. Yeah? Yes, and only when them done eat, then you're going to feed the other people, Right? Then the others going to eat. You have to wait until them done eat. But today, we'll make it easier. So when I Baba jutai the food, they say, go ahead and feed the people. Because people waiting, they're hungry too, And these are the traditions, and this is what is mentioned here to devotees. So what it tells you again, Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam, give them presents. So this is where the siddhas are prepared. Okay? Now, when Baba blessed these siddhas, they ask you how much siddhas you should prepare. 13 siddhas really completes a yag. 13, if you could help it. It mentioned in Purana, salt should be placed in a siddha, especially when it's bhandara and so on. It removes the fear from the soul when it has to face Lord Maraj. And all the various things, greens and what you may put and so on. Together with clothing, dakshina and all these things. So Baba will tell you, see these siddhas are blessing them, you have to give to the Brahmana, nobody else. Now it doesn't mean that you cannot give everybody who you invite. You could give everybody, but these that are blessed are the Brahmanas, you have to go and look for them and give them. So today you don't get much of them, right? Things are expensive, most time people prepare 5, sometimes they only prepare 1 alone for the pandit. Now might get none to think about it, right? But the more you could give is always the better, always remember that. But what is blessed are the Brahmanas. You have to go and look for the Brahmanas and give them that. Okay? Hari Om Narayan Bhakti Kevalam. And it said 12 pots devotees full with water and food. But I Khalsa, when you check it out in that way then. All right? So devotees, these are, you see what is mentioned here and the practices that we have. Now when our forefathers come here, they had to adapt to suit here in Trinidad. So you might, what is mentioned here, you might have minor changes then in terms of how it is done and whatsoever and so on. But they have maintained an age-old practice that is spoken about by Lord Vishnu to us through Garuda in this Garuda Purana. Right? What is important to note again, that these rites and rituals should not be put aside or omitted. When a loved one dies, and we understand why, that soul, if these rites and rituals are not done, the soul cannot elevate. It remains in the position of what you call a spirit. It cannot elevate to a pitra position. It has to be done, and it should be done. As I mentioned, it's not how much people you invite. The only thing is to feed more people. But the rites and the rituals should be done. And if somebody loves his father, mother, one who has passed away, what is too difficult? You see, one of the problems is we don't cater that we'll die and these things will have to be done. We feel we'll live forever. We got to put things in place, right? Things could happen to anybody anytime. It's Kali we live in. Put your things in place so when that time comes, all these things will be taken care of. Prem se boliye Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. We are going to stop at this juncture here, and well, next week we will not continue with Purana because next week is Purnima or full moon. So we are going to have our full moon Katha on next week Thursday night, and we thank Rishi and Sharon. They will be the hosts for next week's puja. All right? Following week after, we'll continue with Purana. Bolo Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. So tonight, devotees, we say thanks very much to our Srutas who did puja, and that is Bernice, right, my neighbor. She did puja tonight together with her sister, grandson. I forget the boy name. Randy? Bradley, okay? Bradley, very interested in this dharma. Okay, they perform puja tonight. We thank them so very much. And they will begin the arati shortly. And tonight we say thanks very much for the parasat tonight was contributed by my chillers, Davis and Savi Pari. Right? Thanks so much, Davis and Savi, for your contribution of parasat tonight. And the meals devotees prepared, contributed by Miss Leela Haripal and Miss Bernice Lubin. So these two sisters, thanks so much again once more. Right? Remember, next week Thursday is full moon Katha. And tomorrow is our Ramlila meeting. 6:30, we are embarking on our 36th year of Ramlila in San Grande. Anybody interested in coming aboard with us, you're most welcome. We'll be here at 6:30 tomorrow evening in our meeting. Right? Prem se boliye Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. So let us stand, please, as we join in Arati. And our devotees who did puja, please come and commence the Arati. Hari Om. Yani kani chapapani janamantar kretani ta tani tani vinashanti pradakshina pari parihedi panam. Watchman, you make it on the book here, and then you go and right or wrong and make all the deities, right? Hari Om Dipanam Prati Kritam. Bolo Sri Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare. भक्त जनों के संकट,
दास जनों के संकट,
छलने दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओ जो ध्यावे फल पावे,
दुख बिन से मन का,
स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का। सुख संपत्ति घर आवे,
संपत्ति घर आवे,
कष्ट मिटे धन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। कल्याण
मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहो किसकी।
स्वामी शरण गहु मैं किसकी।
तुम बिन और न दूजा,
तुम बिन और न दूजा। आश करो मैं किसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
तुम
तर्यामि पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी ओम जय जगदीश हरे
तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता
स्वामी तुम पालन करता
मैं मूरख कलकामी
मैं मूरख खलकामी कृपा करो भरता ओम जय जगदीश हरे
तुम हो एक अभोजन सबके प्राणपति
ओ स्वामी सबके प्राणपति किस विधि मिलव दयामय किस विधि मिलव दयामय तुमको मैं कुमति ओम जय जगदीश हरे
दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे
ओ स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे अपने हाथ बढ़ाओ
द्वार परार देवी
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा
ओ स्वामी पाप हरो देवा श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ
भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन की सेवा ओम जय जगदीश जय जगदीश हरे
स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे बोलो श्री विष्णु भगवान की जय Okay. So devotees, as we give thanks to this occasion once more in Satsangh, we understand our devotee Mr. O'Brien from African is not well. He's under the weather with his health, presently hospitalized. We ask Bhagavan Vishnu shower his grace upon him, Shankar Bhagavan, that may he be able to be out and join us once more. Also, I told you that well, everybody know how in temple, I believe, it says Sherry, right? Sherry Maraj Balak from Little Cora Road in Kumoto. Used to be always here with us, Yagya, full moon, whatever, and so on. She passed away this morning. Her funeral will be on Monday morning at 8:30, then to the Karani River. We ask Bhagavan Vishnu, his mercy upon this Atma or the soul, and again, may the Lord's guide and protect. We offer prayer on her behalf. Om Anadhi Nidhano Deva Sanka Chakra Gadadhara Akshaya Pundare Kaksha Preta Moksha Prado Bhava Om Shantakaram
Pujageshainam
Padmanabham Suresham Veshwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam
Kamalnenam
Yogi Virdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavbhayharam Sarvalokaikanaatam Om Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandho
Chahasaka Tvameva
O Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोलिए विष्णु भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, गुरु रामानंद स्वामी की जय, और शक्ति जगदम्बे माता की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रेम से बोलिए सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय, सर्वदेवी सर्वदेवता की जय, साधु गुरु के दंडवत जय 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 सीताराम। Kalyan, please be seated. After receiving Arti, Prasad, meals are prepared. Courtesy again, Bunis and Leela, we thank them so very much. And Davis and Savi for the Prasad tonight. As I said, next week is Full Moon Katha, sponsored by Sharon and Rishi. And tomorrow evening at 6:30, we have a Ramlila meeting here in the Mandir.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukundan, Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukundan, Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Hari Keshav Hari Govinda, Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Keshava Hari Govinda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Hari Keshav Hari Govinda, Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Keshava Hari Govinda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukundan, Hari Narayan Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Bhanmale Murli Vale, Govardhan Girvardhari.
Dhanmali Muralidhari, Govardhan Girvardhari.
Bhanmale Murli Vale, Govardhan Girvardhari.
Dhanmali Muralidhari, Govardhan Girvardhari.
नित नित कर माखन छोरी गोपी बनहारी.
नित नित कर माखन चोरी गोपी बनहारी.
हरि सुंदर नंदन मुकुंदर, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
हरि सुंदर नंदन मुकुंदर, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
हरि सुंदर नंदन मुकुंदर, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
हरि सुंदर नंदन मुकुंदर, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nandam Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
आओ रे गाओ रे गोकुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे गाओ रे राहुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे कान्हा रे गोकुल के सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम।
हरि 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 सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम। हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम। 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 Thank you. That's especially dedicated to Anthony Bisai.
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो।
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 रमण हरि गोपाल बोलो।
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो।
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो।
गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो।
राधा रमण 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 हरि गोपाल बोलो।
गोविंद बोलो 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 हरि गोपाल बोलो।
विष्णु की जय जय ब्रह्मा की जय जय।
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 उमा महेश्वरी शिव जी की जय जय। उमापति की जय। गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो।
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 यमुना की जय जय गंगा की जय जय।
यमुना की जय जय गंगा की जय जय।
यमुना की जय जय गंगा की जय जय।
यमुना की जय जय